Chugga, 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 getting the servers cranking along and distributing to where they gots to go. Hopefully, you're hearing me soon, and we are live across. Ooh, oh, looks like maybe it actually gets going sooner than I think. That's good to know. Thanks for your patience. This is Hug Nation Live. If you are here live, you could be viewing through a number of places. And if you share gratitude, I will share it with those that are listening in other places. We're on right now on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, I believe. Hello, Frenchie and Catamaran. I am John Halcyon. I am live here in San Diego, California, where it is a beautiful sunny day. It is the end of a heat wave we've been having here. It was quite warm yesterday. I know that's hard to believe for many people who are, you know, but it was warm. We had my annual monthly event called First Saturdays was yesterday, where we went downtown and gave things away. We have care packs, backpacks, and food, and clothing, and odds and ends, and but most of all, smiles and dignity. And yesterday was an epic, epic day. It was our 16th anniversary. So myself and my 2 co-founders, Jason and Merrick, who we all went to high school together, and then we came up with this I we didn't come up with this idea, we just at our 10-year high school reunion, we decided that we were looking for places to be more of service, and one day drove downtown to give things away, and it was awesome, so we said, "Let's do it every month," and over time, it's become a legit 501(c)(3) charity. This weekend, we had well over 100 volunteers, gave away lots and lots of stuff, so it was really special, really beautiful day. Welcome, Murray Christopher Edelman and Shellbone. Um, and hello, Amy Orviev. Yeah, so it was a special, special day yesterday for me. Hello, girl. Good morning. I'm grateful that I just had a walk this morning with my beloved Lisa. Chris says congrats on the anniversary of First Saturday. Thanks. It felt great. And there's a few things that I'm grateful for about yesterday that went especially well. I used to get kind of stressed out when we had lots of volunteers because we can do it. If we have 10 volunteers, we can do it. So when there's 110 volunteers, it's kind of my job to find stuff for everyone to do. And I used to feel guilty if people showed up and they didn't feel like you know, they're wasting their time. But I've let go of that. And, it goes how it goes. And the more people we have, the more people have the opportunity to talk with people that are our clientele. And that's the most important thing that we offer is connection. Good morning, Edna. And so, yeah, I felt like and I kinda made some judgment calls about how we were gonna do things. This may or not be interesting to you, but I will share in case because, you get a little insight into my mind and service and gifting and how my experiences through Burning Man gifting and this homeless work, like, why I was like, "I'm gonna give you additional tasks because I think it's gonna be more effective and feel better psychologically." So, we had the Rancho Santa Fe Rotary Club donated these awesome backpacks that they filled with they had hats and gloves and, um, first aid kits and things, and so initially, we're like, "Oh, well, let's use those as our care packs," and so we started shoving our care packs, which are plastic bags with additional toiletries and some food, into their bags, so we had these bags that were just packed with awesome, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we have so many volunteers, what if The Rotary Club who came to help yesterday to volunteer, will have them be first in our big l circle line that people go through. They will give people the backpack open, and then they will with the open pack, you'll go to the next station, and then they'll get the plastic pack inside. Then they go to the next station, and they can get a water, and the next station, they'll get another group that brought, like, care packs with, like, masks and warm hats. So, instead of getting 1 bag from 1 person that they later kinda go, "Oh, wow, this was a lot of good stuff." As they go through the line, they're receiving and connecting with by the 6 people instead of just 1, and really having a sense of all that they are receiving. And I felt like sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, go with the flow," but I felt good about myself for playing CEO and saying, "No, we're gonna do it this way. You redo this, take this out, that do this extra. Nope, those aren't done yet," It was good, and I think it worked well. Welcome, Ravina, or Raven, I mean. Uh, Gerbot says, "I am grateful for a beautiful day working in the dirt yeah, working in the yard with my hands in the dirt." Yeah. I there's nothing it's so important, I think, to have some connection to dirt and nature, whether it's houseplants or landscaping or gardening or your lawn or something. That's one of the things I was just talking this morning with Lisa that I'm trying to break out of my habit of sitting in this desk as my default place. I've got 2 monitors, a laptop, I've got 3 cameras, multiple microphones, hard drives all over the place, and because this becomes my default place, I tend to fall into tasks that are related to computing and the internet, and then I fall into checking on the latest social media updates, and I almost always feel better if I get outside or what I've been doing, coloring books, you know, going to the kitchen table and coloring. It's a big part of my adjustments this year is finding ways where I am engaged in the world that is not digital. High Noon says, "I am grateful for showing up here, even though I am struggling to even be alive." Thank you for feeling comfortable enough to share that, and I'm grateful that you're here. I hope that you can at least touch at some level the knowledge that this too shall pass, and that whatever is feeling overwhelming is real and temporary. Whether that is the real ache in your back or the pressure that something must be undone or the feelings that are hurt, um, everything in our lives up till now has created this body of evidence that we get through that stuff. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of this community, and I honor wherever you are in this moment. Gerbot adding that I'm also grateful that I didn't hurt myself with all the lifting and bending. Whew, I feel that. I'm I'm not as strong as I used to be, and I have injuries, and, like, when I trap I almost every time I try, I injure I have a torn labral thing in my shoulder, and I initially heard it picking up heavy luggage, and almost every time I travel, I forget and I lift something heavy, and it makes it worse. Ugh. Welcome, Wolfie Wolf Art. And it says, "I'm here, and it's hard for me to share struggles. Thanks for creating safe space to be y'all." I wanna applaud you for being here. It it is so difficult to do the things that you know are good for you, when you don't feel good, you know? Like, I'll admit that there are times when my mood is crappy, and I don't show up to the noon gratitude circles that we do, that you're all welcome to, you're all invited. The link is on lifestudent.com, and I think and on hugnation.com, or you can message me. I don't wanna make it hard, but and coming here to share gratitude, like, when you don't feel any gratitude, you're like, "I don't wanna go today," like, but I do believe that even if you're silent and just say, I don't have it in me to share," to just listen and be in a place where people are finding ways to touch the gratitude and express the gratitude in their lives. Hello, Leslie. Good morning, good day. Your bot echoing. I'm glad you're here and grateful for your participation. High noon. Me too. Yeah. Do not I don't if I don't say it enough, you are one of a small and mighty group of people that is consistently showing up and consistently participating and consistently practicing, and that has collective value for all of us, so thank you. For me, Leslie says, "You make my day better." What a nice thing to hear. I really was yesterday afternoon, I was so glowing. We had First Saturdays, and it was packed. You know what? I'm gonna show you a video from yesterday, and fair warning, I made an AI song to go with it that I'm quite proud of. It is gloriously ridiculous. This will actually make it easier for me to explain you this.
We laugh and smile and give things away. My heart's recharged every first Saturday. First Saturday. First Saturday. We give to the people in our neighborhood. We share smiles and kindness, 'cause it feels so good.
First Saturday, oh. I mean, as a child of, glam rock, I put in a rock ballad and into my AI, I wrote those lyrics and said, "Give me it," and turn it into a rock ballad and exported it a few times, and I was like, "Man, every one of these is is awesome." Oh, and it was a really special day because we had this, Rotary Club group join us, which are generally a lot of retired people, and then we had a lot of college kids, and then, some teenagers with their parents and just friends and neighbors, and to my job there is once things are getting organized, is just checking in with people and trying to solve problems or issues if things come up. So it's so rewarding to check in with these young college volunteers who are just, like, lit up, really feeling connected. I thought I will say that I am proud. I'm proud not just of doing this every month for 16 years, but for the vibe and the way that we do it, so that it is a container that encourages connection and laughter and kindness. It's not about, "Let's make sure we're efficient and get as many people fed as possible," and, it's, "Hey, all the things that we've set up here, all the stuff we're giving away, it's just these are just props. These are just these, like, loophole ways for us to try to connect with people who are being ignored by most of society." And to see these young people having these moments where they really feel like they are making a difference in a person's day, that is awesome. So I'm real really plaid plaid, proud and glad and plaid and growed. Welcome, Miss Nits and Quigglefish and Rastaman and Eternal Glim. Uh, I love the love in this room. You know, that man, community is the the soil for which growth has to happen, I think. There's a certain amount of growth that you can do, on a mountaintop, in a cave, isolated with books. Certainly, you can learn a lot, but know how I don't know a better way for our spirits to blossom than within a safe, loving, accepting container. Hey, hey! Oh, you told me your name before, and I'm forgetting it. Hello, bunny music. Sorry. Anybody else wanna share some gratitude today? I'm grateful that even though I cut an ear with my beard, it still looks obnoxiously long. I am grateful for a, uh, inspiration. I started on a video for, um, a monster video, although I'm not sure if it's good enough to work on it still. Yay, nailed the name. I am so excited about the halftime show today. Not really. I am not much of a sports person. So ha 2 seconds to see if I can find this picture that would be uh, um, anybody care a lot about the Super Bowl and wanna help us understand why you care? Mm, actually, no, I did hear about why I should care, that one is Seattle's one of the teams, right? I think I learned that, and that their owners are more progressive than the other team owners, but I don't mean to be bad-mouthing people who are sports people. I used to be judgmental, but now I think that there's something really beautiful about channeling the the human instinct to have us and channeling it into sports where it is harmless. Uh, that was a really this one of my favorite new podcasts. It's not new, but new to me is, the Infinite Harmony podcast, and they did this really I was like, "Oh, wow," this really deep dive into the human tendency and desire to connect with your people and and be against other people, and you see it all the time in politics and messaging, like, it's used to manipulate us all the time, but in sports, you can tap into it and get it out without really doing much damage to anybody or the world. The same way that, like, as I've been in men's groups, I've really been opened my mind into how significant, how important it can be to have a hobby that allows the expression of aggression, like, so I've got super chill, awesome, loving friends who go boxing at least once a week, and at first I was like, "What? I just don't see it." But then I now it totally makes sense. Okay, now I'm just frustrated that I can't find I spent longer than I said I was going to look for this picture, and, well, never mind. Buddy Music says, "I could care less for sports, but I would be grateful, but not expecting, if I could get some tips today to help me with rent." Mm. I wish I had an easy answer for that. Um, Gearbot is grateful for my regular Sunday family Zoom. High Noon is saying, "Thank you for that beautiful video." Thanks. Linnea is saying, I think it's fun, and a day when so many people are bringing their best, whether it is even the broadcasters, the network film people who run the facility, the referees, the dancers. I can respect that. They're all living their best life, even those who throw parties at home, put out their favorite foods, and gather. It is a day to have fun. Why not? Yes, you're right. And the old an old version of me would get frustrated that see grown men, especially, showing a passion, showing a care for this sports team that is so outside of their life, and I had this desire, like, what if people cared that much about their neighborhoods, the local park, their kids? And I don't see the parallel anymore, and partially it's because of that idea of it's okay to channel this that tendency. And you're right, that the idea of people bringing their best. I've also, been lucky enough to watch a couple documentaries that are not what I would normally watch about exceptional athletes, and I think that there is something truly poetic and beautiful about a human being doing literally everything they can to maximize their natural talents to perform at the best, win or lose, to put in that level of effort to um, there is something incredible about that. The flip side of that is that it tends to be that the people who are the best in the world, like the truly driven, exceptional people, the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the people who are just incredible, the in order to be that driven and that good, you have to have a mental illness, which is that you have a voice in your head that is never satisfied and that nothing is good enough. You can and sometimes I think about whenever I get like, "Man, I could be trying harder," you know? I certainly am satisfied with a level of "That's good enough." I would not trade that where I'm at for where they're at for anything. I would so much rather be good enough in 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 all things in my life so that rather than just be driven to excellence. Because when you're driven to excellence, you're only really joyfully enjoying life 1% of the time. Whereas me, I am enjoying so much of life, you know, my tolerance for good enough food is so low, I'm like, anything that's served to me, if someone else cooks the food, I'm like, "This is awesome. Thank you. Wow. Thank you." Now the downside is that sometimes I create art and work that is good enough. So, and Lisa is someone who is much higher in the realm of for her to be pleased with her what she produces, it has to be a lot better. And so we kinda help each other. I help her to be like, "Yeah, yeah, I think you're done," and she helps me to be inspired to be like, "Okay, maybe I should edit that one more time." Um, Let me read a few comments. Uh, Hyan says, "I'm grateful for the access to a 7-mile stretch of marsh and coast trail that I'm going to explore in a bit. I'm looking forward to saying to those I pass hello and that they are awesome. Go, go, ambassador of love." Linnea says, "Where else can they have this channel to direct those kinds of emotion? To have a channel to give people a way to experience various emotions or to care about something, anything? Sometimes there's nothing else to care about." Well, I would push back and maybe say it's a little more nuanced. I don't think there are places where people can care about where it's so neatly packaged, you know? The jerseys, "I'm out for blue and you're for red." Um, there's certainly a lot of things to care about in the world, but it's so incredibly nuanced that it's you don't have that same satisfaction of, you know, like like raw patriotism. Well, except that we do this, and while we do this, we do this, do this, but you can really get excited about your favorite team and your city. Um, Robot says, "Be excellent to one another, my dudes." Linnea is saying, "Anything that brings people joy, like, yay!" But also, what other channels can someone take their body and give it something to do, like a sport where things can be measured or improved? But also, I don't care about today's experience per se, but happy so many people can gather and have fun. Meanwhile, Gearbot is taking us on a tour. Wild stallions. Um, Anybody following the halftime show stuff? I yesterday listened to a 30-minute podcast so that I could learn about Bad Bunny, who I knew almost nothing about, but I recognize that he is a, like, cultural phenomenon. I keep my hair is looking ridiculous. Hold on. There, now I don't look ridiculous anymore. Um, uh, yeah, like, it it's so and I'm not, paying fully attention, but my understanding is, Bad Bunny is asked to play at the halftime show to headline. He's actually played with someone else in the past, is my understanding, and but he is a Spanish speaker, and his songs are in Spanish, and the roots of his music is in Latin music, and so upon that announcement, the population of this country that want to make America great again, and by "make America great," they mean roll us back to where we had a significant amount of ingrained racism that we didn't talk about and was just accepted, and they are frustrated and upset that we would pedestal an artist that is so brazenly not a country music, you know, person singing about flags and right-wing values. Meanwhile, there's these things like we've had a lot of non-US citizens perform at the halftime show over the years, and Bad Bunny is a US citizen. I love this art this it's like it makes it so comical when you comical and fucking tragic and sad. Like Bad Bunny did not tour in the US because even though he's a US citizen, he was worried that his concerts would attract people who might not have the right paperwork, and they'd be targeted by ICE. So so it's one thing for a whole group of football fans to be like, "I ain't watching the halftime show. I ain't watching Janet Jackson," or whatever. Remember the nip slip? Um, and and so there's an alternate halftime show with a bunch of people I've never heard of and Kid Rock? Now, it would make sense in this fractured world of that I'm living in if the alternate halftime show was like Travis Tritt or some, like, old country musician that sang about super traditional, America stuff. But Kid Rock is a freaking scumbag. So to say to 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 protest one thing with an alternate that is n unimpressive and really a poor role model is I mean, I guess it tracks. It makes sense. It makes sense in this world today, like, we're not judging things based on real value and real integrity and real talent and real the measurements that one would think would be important to people. Ugh, man, in the future documentary of Idiocracy, the real life story, I think that this Kid Rock Super Bowl is gonna be highlighted. Oh, thank you, Linnea. Valletta says, "We'll tune in for the halftime, but the entire industry has taken all sport in my mind. Grateful for what it can provide, but let's not." I have been noticing have you guys been I've been seeing the internet and social media has been previewing the commercials that are gonna be shown, and I do generally like to see the commercials. The if nothing else, it is c the Super Bowl commercials show you what what is created when the highest budgets possible are put towards advertising, and I think it's fascinating what they do, sometimes incredibly clever, sometimes shockingly, dim and embarrassing that that's what they think the US responds to. Um, there's a few like, have you seen the Claude anti-OpenAI ads um, about OpenAI, ChatGPT starting to run ads, which I watched an interview with Sam Altman saying, like, that's totally misrepresents what's going to be what we're talking about. Even so, dude, those ads are great. If you have not, you should check out some of these ads. Um, thanks, High Noon. Gearbot says, "People are getting all wound up even though he's an American citizen." Yeah, the irony. Isn't that I heard but Bad Bunny had a quote that said it said, I'm gonna mess it up, but it said, "English isn't Bad Bunny's first language," and Bad Bunny says, "English isn't America's first language." Linnea says, "I hope it goes well and that there's nothing t for either side to complain about." Thank you. Thank you for knocking me out of my grumpy old man state. Yes, I hope everyone's happy. I hope that it tomorrow, we're not even thinking about it and talking about it, and it does not become another, you know, open wound to poke. Oh, the irony. What says, "We're living the idiocracy so hard right now." John looking ridiculous? Never. I had a on Friday, I was getting my trash cans, and I ran into my next door neighbor who I almost never see. Like, I had the longest conversation I've ever had with him, partially because I never see him, and I wanted and I was I kind of was, like, nervous talking way too much, and I realized afterwards I just trimmed myself, but I had I twisted my mustache was twisted into, like, a twist to this, and my hair was huge, and, like, the first thing it says, like, "Oh, you've gotten, bigger since I last saw you." And so I started flexing and no. Um, Linnea says, "See, it gives people a chance to choose side. For what team? For political things. Can everyone just shut the fuck up and have fun?" I vote I would like my ballot to say, "Shut the fuck up and have fun." I will vote for your platform. Please run. Any more gratitude people wanna share? Something small or tiny, something in your room, something out your window, just a little detail of your human experience that we could get a taste of? Luann says, "I'm grateful to wake up to a bird singing beautiful songs outside my window and for the sun today as I start tomato seeds for this year's garden." Mm, perfect. Thank you for sharing. I love getting a taste of your world. Bunny Music says, "Linnea, you are on point." Um, I'm I'm grateful for coloring books. I'm grateful I watched a tutorial last night, so I think I'm gonna try to learn how to make my own mandalas using Illustrator to color, because as the more I color, the more I know what I like, and as I'm shopping for new coloring books, I'm like, "Oh, this isn't what I want. I want thick lines. I want complicated designs, but thick lines so that I can do it with these pens that I like." And the technology is such that I might be able to do it. I am so grateful for my new custom coat that I and I'm grateful that this heat wave we're having in San Diego is gonna chill out, so I'll have more opportunities to wear my coat for the brief winter window that we have in San Diego. I'm grateful for a beautiful time recording with Betsy, a new Stay Sparked episode where I get to ask her about the how she created her book and her deck. She's got a book, The Power Affirmation Journal and the Power Affirmation, like, you know, deck of things you and they're awesome, and I learned a lot, actually. I was inspired. It'll it's not live yet, but stay tuned. I'm also grateful it's the 8th. The 10th is the year anniversary since my friend Janus passed away, and I've been thinking a lot lately. grateful for in my life. Bunny Music says, "I wanna make a joke before I sign off. Bad Bunny is playing tonight, but all my coworkers were calling me Good Bunny. You'll always be Good Bunny to me." Like, my partner's name or her performer name is Lisa Littlebird. Most people know her as Lisa Littlebird, and so sometimes people call her mom Big Bird. Mom doesn't like that too much. So if you're listening, Carla, my apologies that I even said that out loud. Um, da fun rules. Gearbot says, "I'm also grateful for YouTube that brings the world to me at my fingertips anytime, any place." Right? That's where I was learning how to make a mandala in Illustrator. I'm also grateful that the local park still has a few roses blooming. Lisa and I walked up to the park this morning and get to smell the last few roses that are blooming, and I'm grateful that I have a partner that will invite me on a morning walk to go smell roses. I know I mention every day, and but I believe that you can give gratitude for the same thing every day. In the gratitude circles at noon that we do, sometimes people go like, "I feel like I'm a broken record, I'm grateful for coffee," but I'm like, there is nothing wrong. In fact, it is incredible. If you can truly find gratitude for the same things day after day, that is the goal. The goal is to just continually be like, "My hands work. I have opposable thumbs. Oh my gosh, this tree is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I my coffee. Oh." That's the goal, and I every day am grateful for my partner, Lisa. We have a practice of every night before bed, we say whatever we feel like is that time, and then we often do it throughout the day, and, like, I just feel so lucky. I mean, I guess I won't say lucky because I feel like I've been working towards being the person I am my entire and who I am now is worthy of a woman like her, but it is so awesome to be so deeply in love and feel so deeply loved. You know, it's the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and sitting on the couch with her, having a frozen pizza was exactly where I wanted to be. So I'm so grateful to to be in that state. And another thing I've been thinking about lately is I'm so grateful for the order of events of my life. Like, I had a lot of adventures. In fact, I had adventures, the levels of extreme debauchery that were so much outside of what normal people get to experience in their lives that I genuinely thought that I made that choice. I chose a life of crazy adventures, which meant I would never have the things that traditional people have, like wives and houses and picket fences. But what's happened is because I sowed my oats and have tried all the crazy things and have had way too many not too many, but enough years of chasing different hungry ghosts that I can have this certainty that what I want now is pretty normal and basic. Highlights of my day are the cuddle times. Bunny Music says, "So happy for you both. Real love and connection is rare. Cherish that." Thank you. I wish this for everyone, and if I could give guidance to anyone who is looking for it, I would say the path to your perfect person is through your own work. If if I would have met the perfect person even 2 weeks earlier, it I it wouldn't I wasn't there yet. I mean, I wasn't not aware of that. I always thought that I was r great, but looking back, I can see all the ways in which I just wasn't I hadn't healed enough of the stuff that was causing a rift between true intimacy. Ah, Gearbest says, "Chasing hungry ghosts." Nice way to put it. Yeah, I didn't make up the term "hungry ghosts," but Lisa mentioned it recently, and I was like, "Oof." It's, any addiction of any sort, you know, whether it's wanting to have another piece of pie or a high or status, any of the it's part of being a human, I think, is trying to figure out what are the hungry ghosts that are keeping you in a feeling of, like, not enoughness in all the different realms. Luann says, "Normal can be fun too." Old me didn't believe old me was terrified of being normal, and to be fair, I still am. This is my normal, so it's not I'm still not ready to be true. Alright, I appreciate everyone's contributions and participation and gratitude, and I hope that your team wins today, and I hope that Bad Bunny inspires the world to learn another language, and that we each have a chance today to stretch a little bit in our love ambassador ways, whether it's kindness to ourself and forgiveness, in being present, in asking questions or sharing compliments. I think we all will find some way today to move the needle towards love and compassion, either or hopefully both inward and outward. So wherever you are, let's give ourselves a hug, and as you are squeezing your body, imagining I'm holding you and you're holding me and all the people that are here today in the recording, and we're all connected in the space beyond the physical in a intentional hug in this land of Hug Nation, appreciating this shared human experience we're having, different details, but so much overlap in what we're dealing with. So let's together take a deep breath in and squeeze each other. On behalf of and all of us here, thanks for being here. Happy Super Bowl. I love you. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Paul.